Hello and welcome to Rexcel's Tech Hub YouTube channel. Today we're going to be learning about some basic functions and formulas in Microsoft Excel. Okay, so for this tutorial we're going to be learning about basic formulas and functions in Microsoft Excel. But before we get into all of that, we need to know the difference between the two. Okay, so a lot of Excel users confuse functions and formulas to be the same. Okay, but they are technically different. So I'm going to begin with formula. So formulas are an expression. Okay, formulas are expressions with that uses either cell references or hard code numbers to calculate the value of a cell, whereas functions are predefined formulas that are already available in Microsoft Excel. So I'm going to give you an example of a formula and a function here using the spreadsheet I have open right in front of me. So I have a spreadsheet here with student names and then column for homework, tests, midterm, and then the final exam. So I'm going to add up all the numbers here using a formula. So whether it's a formula or function that you want to input in a cell, you always start with an equal sign. Okay, so equals. Now using the hard-coded number, so I'm going to enter these numbers exactly the way they are here. So I have 97 plus 90 plus 80 and plus 70. Then I hit my enter key. Now to replicate the same thing for the other cells, select the cell where I inputted the formula, come to the corner of the cell here where you see this little green box here, and then hover your mouse over it until you see the autofill handle and then you drag down. Now if you notice, I have the same answer for all the other cells. This is because I use the hard-coded numbers. Okay, so that's one drawback of using the hard-coded numbers. Then if I decide to, let's say, change this to 95, you notice nothing changes here. That is because I use the hard-coded number. So for that change to happen, I need to come into this place and change this to 95. Okay, so using cell references solves that problem. So I'm going to delete all of this now and then come with my equal sign again. This time around I'll use cell references. So here I have what? So I put my equal sign. So I select this cell, that's D6 plus. So Excel gives each cell a different color code. This cell plus, select this plus, and then select the last cell. Okay, so I'm done with that. I hit my equal sign, my enter key rather, okay, to calculate the value of the cell. Then let's copy down for some of these cells. I'll stop here. So you see the answers. So it gives us the correct answers. Now let's change a value here and see what happens. Let's change this to 85. Okay, so you see Excel updates it. So this is done because we are using the cell references and not the hard-coded numbers like we did before. Okay, so that's why we have that. Okay, so I'm going to delete all of this now. Now let's look at the using a function. So the function we're going to use here is a sum function. We're going to use a sum function to do this. So to get the sum function, there are two ways. Okay, there are two ways. Either we go to this FX button here, insert function. Okay, so I'll select this. This is where I want to put the function. Then click on this. Then it brings out this dialog window here. Okay, and then I will need sum function. So I'll just search for sum here. SUM. Click on go. So my sum function is here. So select that. Click on OK. Then the sum function has arguments. The arguments are the things that the function needs to give me the result or an answer. So by default, Excel picked all the values to the left of the cell where I'm putting in the function. Okay, it assumes that that is what I want to sum, and that is exactly what I want to sum. But sometimes its assumption is wrong, so you have to select the particular cell that you want. But this is what I want, so I'll just click on OK. Now, if we step into this formula, okay, you see what is happening there. So sum D6 all the way to G6. So D6 all the way to G6. Okay. Now, if I want to see what is happening inside there, I don't really need to double click to open it. Okay. Another way I can do that is select the cell and look in the formula bar. Okay. When you look in the formula bar, you see what is going on there. Then if you don't look in the formula bar, instead of double clicking, I use a shortcut, function F2. Okay, function F2 opens the shows you what is inside that cell. Okay, so I'm using function key and F2 because my keyboard, the function key does not work without the F function key. The function key on your keyboard is Fn. Okay, so my function keys F1 to F12 have other things, okay, other things that they do. Okay, so my F2 key by default reduces brightness. So in order for me to be able to access the F2 function, I will need to hold down the Fn function key combined with what? F2. Okay, so I'm going to click enter now. So drag down, okay, and we have the sum there. So let me undo that. To undo is Ctrl Z. Okay, so with that done, so let's do it for, let's drag down for all the other cells. Okay, so all added. All right, now come to average. So I want to find the average of the numbers here, homework, average of tests and the rest. So to do that, now if you want to do average normally, the way we do our average, okay, average can also be mean. Okay, we want to do average, want to find average rather. Okay, we start with our equal sign. So I'm going to go the formula way before I use the average function. Then we select all these cells and keep adding each and every one of them. Okay, keep adding. So we just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. So I'm just going to pause this video now and select all those cells so that you can save as much time as possible. Alright, so we've added all the cells, everything from D6 all the way to D25. Now the next thing is to divide by the what? Total number of students, which is what? 20. So I'll step in there and put 20. Okay, and hit the enter key. Okay, now you see what's happening here. We have 157.65. Okay, 157.65, that's the average. Okay, so what this means is that there's, okay, so I have a duplicate value here, D10, so I'm going to remove that, D10. Okay, enter. So 100,488.65, 1,488.65, yes. So now this formula that I typed in here, what Excel did is that Excel followed the order of operations. Okay, so, and in the order of operations, division comes before addition. So what did he do here? So he did what? D25 divided by 20 before it now added all the others. So that's why we're having this very high answer here. So in order to correct that, what we're going to do is to come in here, put in our brackets, okay, and then put in a bracket here. So with this bracket now, Excel now understands that, okay, I need to add all these first before I divide by 20. So hitting our enter key, and we get the answer 78.85. But that is a very long process. Imagine that you have up to 100 students in a class. So you have to keep hitting plus D26 plus D27 till you get to D100, which is going to be very, very, very tiring and time wasting. So An easier way to do this is by using the average function. So I'll come here, equals, type in average. Okay, that's one way. So, or we go to insert function button again. Okay, so I have average here. So if average is not showing in yours, then you can search for it here. Search for average. So I have average here. Okay, so I have average selected, and I click OK. Okay, so by default, it selects. So Excel, initially when we were finding the sum, it looked to the left. But now it has looked to the left, and what is there is not a number, so it does not recognize it. So what did Excel do? It looked up and saw a number, so it selected from D6 all the way to D26. Okay, so D26 is an empty cell. We don't want that, so I'll just go here and select the cells I want. So D5 to D25. Okay, so it gives us the formula result 78.85. So click on OK, and that gives us the answer. Then we can drag for the other cells. Okay, so and that gives us the average. So using the average function makes it easier. Then max. So let's go to the max function. So the max function can also be gotten from the statistical from here. So this is another way we can get a function. Okay, so let's search for max. So I have max here. Okay, so it only wants to find for this, but I want the max for the entire column here for homework. Okay, so then it gives us the formula result as 97. Then copy for all the other cells. Okay, then for the main function, still the statistical formulas, search for mean, I have it, then drag, copy the cells I want to find the minimum score. It gives us the minimum score at 60, formula results here. Okay, and click on OK. Then copy for the others. So that way we're able to use these functions to get the answer that we're looking for. So sometimes you have to use formulas, some cases you have to use formulas, and some cases you have to use functions. But whichever way, functions actually make your work easier because the formulas are predefined. They're predefined. Formulas are there already. You just need to give it the arguments, what it needs, and then it gives you an answer. Okay, so before we wrap up with today's tutorial, we're going to look at one last tip, one last thing, which is the names here. So I have all the names here in caps, but I don't want everything to be in caps. I want just the first letters of the first name and surname to be in caps. Okay, so I want it to be a proper noun. Okay, so proper nouns have just their first letters capitalized. So how do I do that? Now, if I want to, there are two ways I can do that. One is by using a function available in Excel to do that. Then the other way is by retyping these names, okay, which is going to take quite some time. Okay, if I just have maybe 3 or 5 names, I can just retype. But I'm having 20 names. Then in a situation where I have more than 20 names, retyping everything is going to take quite a long time. So in order to fix this quickly and save a lot of time, what do? I'm going to use a function in Excel, okay, that helps me change this. It's called the proper function, and you can find it under the words text. Okay, is here. Proper is under the text functions. So I have proper here. Okay, but before I can select that, I need to select the cell where I want to do that. So I'm going to start from here, C32. So I'll go back to text, click on proper. Then it's a text function, so it only requires a text. So this is where I want here, C6. That's where I want to start. So you see that's giving us the formula result exactly the way I want it. So click on OK. Then copy down for the others. Okay, So I have about 20 names there. Okay, so I will stop at C103, so I don't want the others. So just go. Okay, so okay, still have some more. Okay, so those are all the names. Yes, that's the name. Sunday Babatunde is the last name. So with that done, I now need to replace these names with this. I want to replace these names with this. So what I'm going to do with this highlighted, I'll click on Control C. Control C is for copying. Okay. Then come to the first cell here, right click. Okay, I want to paste now. So if I use the normal paste method, okay, it's going to give us an error because what I'm pasting there is a formula. Okay, it will give us an error. So what I want to do is to paste it as a value. So I'll paste them as values. So when I do that, it pastes just the names there without the formula, and that's exactly what I want. So with that done, I can go here and delete all of this. I don't need this again. So delete. Okay, so with that, we have seen how to use the sum function, the average function, the max function, and the minimum function, and as well to convert a text of names, okay, from all caps to what proper nouns, okay, where you just have just the first letters of each names being capitalized. All right, so with that, we've come to the end of today's tutorial. In our next tutorial, we're going to look at how to calculate the scores here, okay, in such a way that they are going to rhyme with the total score that is supposed to be a 100. So here we're having 337, which is not supposed to be. Okay, so but I was just showing us how to use the sum function. So we're not really, today's tutorial is not really about calculating the scores to rhyme with what is here. So in our next class, we're going to look at that. And we're going to look at the if function also, which we're going to use to assign letter grades for each score for each student. Like and comment on this video if you learned something from it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification icon to get notified of my new videos.